we're back. So, watching this on the VODs. Then we're back again. And if you're watching this in real life, well, I've just had a black screen for like 20 seconds. So, last time we were on the Brothers War, and we had just added Ratchet from the Transformer set, and now we are starting with the Dark. Hey, let's see what we can find for the Dark. As long as it's your turn, Angry Mob, no. Ashes to Ashes, probably. It's non-black creature. Oh, right, no, it's non-artifact creatures. Okay, so Dark. Add Ashes to Ashes. Since we have absolutely no problem paying the life, I want to exile as much of my opponent's things as possible. Sorcery. Alright. If damage will be dealt to any creature, you may have that damage dealt to you instead. Probably not. Loot. We already have Greed and Necropotence on the list, so I don't think we need the Book of Wrath. Yeah, if we weren't paying black, I could see running that, but since we are, plus any player pays 1 life. I think so. Just Dust to Dust to go with our Ashes to Ashes. Exile 2 artifacts. This one is just white, correct? Not even. Oh no, it's white. Also a sorcery. Eater of the Dead. No. Black creature. Skip my draw step to gain 2 life. No. Sorry, fasting. Stone. Fountain of Youth. No. That is touch. Grave Robber. Horn. Armor. No. Exile all white creatures. No. Don't think we need Maze of Ith. I think we have enough other ways to get around being attacked by creatures. I don't think we have enough ways to sacrifice our creatures for value that I would want Preacher in the deck. Don't need Safe Haven. Scarecrow. Unless you pay 2 life. At the beginning of your end step, destroy all untapped creatures that didn't attack this turn, except for creatures that couldn't attack. Yeah, I don't want to have to attack my opponents. That's not how I'm trying to win the game. Don't need the Fallen. Vidar's Crusade. Tracker. Bond of Ith. Hunter, no. Word of Binding, no. Worms of the Earth, no. Okay, back we go then. So that was the Dark. Now we're on the Lord of the Rings. The actual Lord of the Rings. Alright, what do we want from Bilbo's home set? Don't need Arendelle. Aragorn and Arwen. Enters the battlefield or attacks, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. You gain 1 life for each other creature you control. I don't need the counters on my creatures, and I'm really worried we'll just wind up killing our opponents through damage if we keep growing them like that. So probably not. Destructible, and she can remove the counter to give her and another creature +1/+1 counters and lifelink counters. So Barad-dûr is interesting. Not only can we make an army if a creature died. If we make the army without spending anything for X, we would have a creature come into play and then die immediately and get all of the triggers for everything just for activating it for black and tap. That might be worth it for what is only taking up a land slot in the deck. Okay, Lord the Rings. And this is Arador. It's hyphenated. Barrowblade, no. Bilbo's Ring. As long as it's your turn, equipped creature has hexproof and can't be blocked. If your equipped creature attacks alone, you draw a card and lose a life. And it would equip for 4 on everything except for Bilbo himself, most likely in this deck. Maybe a few other cards we might add in now. It's fine. We have other ways to draw cards and lose life, though, so I don't think we necessarily need it. Opponent casts a spell if no mana was spent. Counter it. Creatures you control gain indestructible. I think so. Do we care about Butterbur? Gives me a free food token every turn, which also plays well with Chatterfang. Honestly, I think we'd rather have Peregrine Took for the food token making, since we'll be able to get tons of food that way. And we can just use the food when we want to. I don't think we're tempting enough. Like, Call of the Ring is just going to be a Phyrexian Arena that costs me 2 life to draw the card and has some weird added text on it. Don't think we need Dawn of the New Age. Denethor. If a creature died under your control this turn, make a 1/1, and he would be the sacrifice outlet for himself. So we can just sack 1 token per turn. It's okay. It's not amazing in this deck. Armor. Create a food token. At the beginning of your end step, if you sacrificed a food this turn, you may search your library for a basic land, put it onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. We won't have a ton of foods is the issue. Like, I probably will run Peregrine Took because of the interactions with these cards, but I don't think we actually need any of the major food synergies if they're not making their own food constantly. And yeah, since we're not going to get tempted by the ring that often, Faramir's not going to make it. Care about Forge Anew, don't care about Frodo. Enters the battlefield or attacks, you may attach target equipment you control with mana value 2 or 3 to him. As long as it's your turn, prevent all damage that will be dealt to him. Don't need Sauron's Bane. Try to choose 1. If he enters the battlefield or attacks, choose 1. 1/1 counter on another target creature. Food token, treasure token. Eh. Cast legendary spells and artifact spells as though they had flash. Legendary permanent or artifact entering or leaving the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger. That ability triggers an additional time. Don't think so. We have a couple things that trigger when artifacts go to the graveyard. I believe he works for that. Applies only spells. Gandalf the White affects a permanent's own enter or leaves. Placement effects. That apply as it enters. You don't need to control the permanent. Doesn't copy the triggered ability. It causes the ability to trigger twice. Okay, so put into a graveyard from anywhere trigger. Okay, so it does work for like the Fang Green, where we would get the 5 life for an artifact dying. I still don't think we need him, but it is interesting to know that it does work. Rider dies. You may put into its owner's library 5th from the top. No. Lamb Drain. Golem. Scheming Guide attacks top 2 cards of your library. Oh, this is the Riddles in the Dark Golem. Golem's Bite, Gorebag, Gothmog. No, I don't want Grima anywhere near my deck. Last thing I need is for somebody to steal him. Make all my hard work stop functioning. The Horn of Gondor. How many humans do we have right now? If I were typing the word human. Potentially 27? Wings, Recruiter of the Guard, Ranger Captain, Witch of the Moors, Distinguished Conjurer, Soul Warden, Ariok Champion, Eternal Witness, Ichiko, Dark Confidant, Martyr, Death Greeter, Ranger, Valera, Mentor of the Meek, Asa, Dualport Cutthroat. Bruna's not a human, so we have 26. Campbell. I mean, he would be a human while he's active, so he would count if we activate it during our main phase. So I guess he still counts, so we're still on 26. Sedgemoor Witch, Lunark Veteran, Knight of Dawn's Light, Raven Man, Halix, and we're back to Sarah Ascendant again. Alright, so yes, Horn of Gondor is viable. We're making a ton of tokens all at once. Alright, I'm down to try it. 3, and it's an artifact. Oops. Don't need Fateful Strike. King of the Oathbreakers, no. All no. Battlefield. Think so. The spread. No. Elia. To Legends. Whenever a player casts their second spell each turn, you lose a life and make a treasure. I don't mind losing the life at all. Sometimes we will actually net life for this. Yeah, okay. I can see Lotho making it as a ramp spell. Lotho. Corrupt. And Sheriff is spelled weird for hobbits, so Shirriff. Sheriff. White and a black for a halfling rogue. 2-1. Alright. Whenever one or more halflings you control attack a player, make a food. I think so. One just makes opponents lose life. That's not what we're about. Mushroom. No. School, no. Both of the Grey Host. Bowmasters, the Palantar. Much as I love the Palantar, this is not the deck for it. Alright, so Peregrine Took. Scroll him up so I can see how we spell his name properly. Peregrine. 2 green. Halfling Citizen. Two, 3. Yeah, between him and Chatterfang, I'm pretty sure. Alright, so File should never trigger, because we'll never be low enough on life, and I have plenty of card draw. We have enough overlapping creature types where Radagast is not as best. I might want Reprieve. Being able to hold off a spell for a turn cycle in a non-blue deck, sometimes that's worth it. We'll have to see. Lapse of Certainty seems more likely since it guarantees they won't get the spell right away. Unless they can draw it and recast it that turn. It's asking a bit more of them. If that creature is legendary, its controller loses 3 life. When the ring tempts you from your graveyard to your hand. Nope. Rosie. Samwise is triggering on non-tokens, so probably not. Insert Buckler, another non-token creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield. Create a 1/1 white halfling creature token. Tap 2 untapped halflings, gets +2/+0 and lifelink. I think so. Sauron. Shadow Enemy. Shelob. Fire Sheriff, no. No. Smeagol. Stew. Sting. Don't need Inuvial. Battle of Bywater destroys all creatures with power 3 or greater. So it misses a lot of my life gain creatures, but not all of them. Then creates a food token for each creature I control. Maybe? Maybe we run the Battle of Bywater? I'll have to see exactly how many of our own creatures this kills. If it's not that many, we might replace one of the other Wraths with it. Of Bywater. It's 1 white. Obviously, it won't kill opponents' little creatures, but a lot of times, players that have a lot of little creatures are trying to grow them, so there's a very real chance that we will just kill most of our opponent's creatures. Alright, do we want the One Ring? We gain protection from everything for a turn, lose a life for each counter on it, and we can tap it to add a counter and then draw cards equal to the number of counters on it. And we have multiple ways to exile artifacts in our deck. So if it actually starts to become an issue, we can get rid of it without having to sacrifice it to a thing. Yeah, okay. Very flavorful. Gives me a way to draw tons of cards for all the life that we're gaining. So, the One Ring. 4 artifact. Alright, One Ring. Get my hypothetical deck. Ring goes south. No. Shire. It's a very roundabout way to get food. And we only have Chatterfang and Peregrine to benefit from making non-creature tokens. It is an artifact, though, and it is an artifact that we can sacrifice, so we do get the... Yeah, we'll probably wind up at least considering it. Shire. I have to see how much room we have for non-basic lands. Don't need the Troll, Zerker, the Fell Beast. Don't need War of the Last Alliance. Don't need the Witch King, I don't think. Like, we already have effects similar to him that will kill every creature that damages me, so... defending player sacrifices a creature with the least power among creatures they control. Nope. Don't need cannot pass, and that's the end of the list. Okay. So that was the actual Lord of the Rings. Next up is the Lord of the Rings Commander. Alright, so what all is in these decks that I need to add in? Of herbs and stewed rabbits. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature, make a food. Draw a card, make a food. Create a 1/1 halfling creature token for each food you have. Right now we have 2 food token makers, so this seems like a lot of the time it's going to be 3 mana for 2 foods and 2 halflings over 3 turns. That's kind of underwhelming. If you gain 3 or more life this turn, the ring tempts you. Then if Frodo is your ring bearer and the ring has tempted you 2 or more times this game, draw a card. I don't really care about ring tempting me, though. Beginning of combat on your turn, create a food. Activate abilities of foods cost 1 less to activate. So he is a free token every turn, and he makes the food tokens cheaper to use. Again, I didn't want Butterbur, and he is also basically a food token every turn. I don't think we need Sam. Like, he's okay, but not essential. Because we are not a food deck, so it's not going to come up quite as often. Another human, +1/+1, and vigilance until end of turn. You become the monarch. No. Frying pan. Enters the battlefield, create a food token and a 1/1 halfling and attach it. Whenever you gain life, this creature gets +X/+X. Nope. Beginning of each end step, if you gain 3 or more life this turn, draw a card. Yes. Yes to the gaffer. Hop down here to the commander cards. Oh, too far. Go. The gaffer. It's 2 and a white. Halfling citizen. Halfling peasant. Peasant. 2/3. Yeah, we should be able to gain 3 life every turn for the rest of the game. More or less. 2 tap, exile another target creature you control, then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. Oh, you may return. If you don't, at the beginning of the next end step, return to the battlefield under its owner's control with a vigilance counter and a lifelink counter. Nope. Enters the battlefield, exile target player's graveyard, and it gets counters. But here attacks, target attacking creature gains flying. And then if I gain 3 or more life, I get another 3/3 bird. That's one of the ones where I could wind up winning the game by virtue of all of the tokens I'm making. But on the other hand, having flyers to block with would be nice. Also, they're smaller than a lot of the angel token makers on our list, so maybe we run way here for that, if nothing else. Alright, so this is WAIHIR, Greatest of the Eagles. This is 4 and a white for a Bird Noble 5/5. Alright, Obsessed Stalker. Beginning of your end step, each opponent dealt damage this game by a creature named Obsessed Stalker loses life equal to the amount of life you gain this turn. I mean, if that's how I was playing to win the game. Enters the battlefield, look at the top card of each opponent's library and exile those cards face down. Sacrifice an artifact, choose one. You may play a card that was exiled this way, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. One or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, make a food, sacrifice a food, put a 1/1 counter on it. When it leaves the battlefield, an opponent loses life equal to its power. Non-token creature an opponent controls dies, exile it. Put a creature exile with Sholeb Dreadweaver into its owner's graveyard. She gets 2 counters and I draw a card. Put a creature card with mana value X exiled with her onto the battlefield under my control. Nope. The Arwen Weaver of Hope's Toughness. Think so. Go to the Entmoot. Devour Food 3. Creatures with power less than it can't block. Create X 1/1 Elf Warriors. X is the number of attacking creatures. Prevent all combat damage will be dealt this turn by non-elves. X counters on it. Vigilance. 6 mana. Other elves gain vigilance and get +1/+1 for each 1/1 counter on. Can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. Other legendary creature enters the battlefield under your control gets a counter. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Enters the battlefield or attacks, return target elf card from your graveyard to your hand, gain life equal to that card's power. Trample, haste, pony attacks, creatures get +1/+1. A food entered the battlefield, +2/+2. Whenever you gain life, put that many ribbon counters on Prize Pig. Then, if there are 3 or more ribbon counters on it, remove those counters and untap it. Tap it, add 1 mana of any color. Yeah, I don't think so. It's okay. The problem is... Oh, wait, no, I get... It's based on the amount of life I gain, too. So if I gain 3 life, I untap it. If I gain more than 3 life from anything, it doesn't give me extra untaps. But a lot of the life gain is incremental, and a lot of it gets modified to increase itself. So with Bilbo in play, every time I gain life twice, this would untap. If anything else modifies the life gain, I untap every time I gain life. Yeah, no, this might actually be too good not to consider. This is Prize Pig? Prize Pig or Prized Pig? Prize Pig. Okay. Is 1 in the green for a boar 0/3. Alright. Travel through Caradros. Starting with you, each player votes for Redhorn Pass or the Mines of Moria. Search your library for a basic land. Go onto the battlefield tapped. You for each search your library. Oh, if you because you might not get to search because they might not vote for it and you might not vote for it. For each Mines of Moria vote, return a card from your graveyard to your hand and then exile this. Probably not. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. Create a number of 1/1 green elf creature tokens equal to the amount of excess damage dealt. Alright, affinity for food, enters with X counters, sacrifice of food, gains indestructible. No. Should probably add Bilbo. Just because. Bilbo. It's birthday. Celebrant. He is white, green, and black. Do you halfling rogue still? Yeah, he is. Never grow out of being a rogue. Two, three. Alright. Farmer Cotton. Enters the battlefield, create X 1/1 halfling tokens and X food tokens. And he's white, green, and X. So he creates twice as many tokens as X. Half of them are non-creature artifacts, and the other half are regular creatures. Maybe? Maybe that's good enough? Farmer Cotton is X green white for a halfling. Peasant 1/1. So many random life gain cards and payoffs. Mary, Warden of Isengard, partners with Pippin. Whenever one or more artifacts enter the battlefield under your control, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token with lifelink once per turn. One tap, create a food token, sacrifice 4 foods, other creatures get +3/+3 and haste. If he just kept making a 1/1 every time. Of course, if you turn the soldiers into artifacts, then he just creates an infinite loop that you can't even voluntarily break. So, maybe not. I don't need Treebeard. Crown of Gondor. For each creature you control, enters the battlefield. If there is no monarch, you become the monarch. Can't be sacrificed. Search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, and then give it to another player, or draw a card, then give it to another player. Specifically, the player on your right both times. I don't need the Model of Unity. Blade. Can't run the Relic of Sauron. You may pay 3 life if you don't. It enters tap. Tap, add black. 1 black tap. Choose a player with the most life or tied for the most life. Target creature can't be blocked by creatures that player controls this turn. No. Alright, so that was the Lord of the Rings Commander set. Unsurprisingly, since Bilbo is one of the commanders, there are a whole host of cards that let you gain life that we have to consider now. Alright. Also, because it's a brand new thing and it's a commander, I had to read every single one of those cards in their entirety to know what I was looking at. Alright. So the Overlord. Fates. Each opponent creates a 1/1 soldier token. It's alright. In that it's giving our opponents tokens too, so not only do they so they won't get it, but if there's 3 opponents, then we'll be making a 1/1 and the other 2 opponents will be making 1/1s. So that will be triggering all of our things for both us and our opponents getting permanents put into play. I don't think this is an Ashen Rider deck. We are exiling things, but it's a 7-drop we need to cast, and then we need to have die in order to get the exiles or blink it. We do have a couple ways to blink it, though. It's still 7 mana. I think we have enough other exiling effects. And we're not really a big mana deck. Bow of Nylea, though, I will definitely be running. That does all of the things we want. And a couple things we don't, but... Bow of Nylea. 1 green for an art enchant. So yeah, it lets us gain life, it lets us put cards from our graveyard back into our deck so we don't deck out. It can kill little flying creatures, and if we really need it to, it can grow one of our creatures. So, Burnished Heart for our mana acceleration. Burnished Heart. It's a 3-drop Elk 2/2. Don't need the Pegasus. Lampad, no. Archon, no. Can't chain things to rocks. No. Monstrosity 10. No. Next 1 damage will be dealt to you this turn. Disciple, Divine Verdict. Makes 3 1/1s, destroys all high power creatures, and Emblem. So, similarly to the Battle of Bywater, a lot of our creatures are small. So Elspeth might just be able to come down and kill a whole lot of creatures without ever touching ours. And she can plus to make 3 tokens. Yeah, I think I have to at least consider her. She starts on 4 loyalty. Yeah. Elspeth, Sun's possessive champion. And oh boy, is Heliod possessive. She's a planeswalker and she starts on 4. Alright. Perhaps little creatures. We don't want to run Erebos for the same reason that I didn't want to run some of the other things. Like, if an opponent ever stole this, like, we can exile it, but it's still a thing that we would need to spend our own card on to get our deck functioning again. And we already have other ways to pay life to draw cards, so we'll just pass on Erebos. Fade is a sorcery and only hits 1 target, and we are already doing way better than that on multiple fronts. Don't need the glare. Our devotion to black isn't going to be super high a lot of the time. Downfall. Eidolon. Handed One. Hythonia. No. Last Breath. Nessian Asp. Ghost. Don't need Nylea. Her Disciple. Palisade. No. No to Ordeal of Heliod. Rika's Cure. Polyk. Solution. Reaper of the Wilds. No. Turn. Reverent. Satyr, Savage Surge, no. Opponent loses 1 life and you gain life equal to the amount of life lost this way. It's an okay mana sink for when I don't have anything else to do with my mana. I don't know that I want to spend a card on it, though. Whenever an opponent casts a multicolored spell, you gain 1 life. Protection from multicolored. Do I care at all? It's probably too low impact. It is kind of interesting, though, in that I can block a lot of random stuff in Commander without dying, and it gains me life. But most players don't go all in on their spells being multicolored unless their commander is about that. You know, like something like the new Omnath, for example. Don't think we need that. I did forget about that card, and it was marginally interesting to think about for the deck, so. Don't need the Triad. Warrior's Lesson. Whip of Erebos. So the whip has an end of turn trigger, which is when Conjurer's Closet and Teleportation Circle would trigger. So I would be able to save the creature, since it's going to exile anyway. So it'll be able to come back. And it gives my creatures lifelink. Yeah, maybe. We'll have to see. This one is very iffy, but it does interact with several other cards in our deck. So. That was Theros. What we got for time? Plenty of time to go for our second thing, so. Oh, 20-ish minutes. That seems like plenty of time, though. It's a third of the time that we've had for this particular iteration, and a sixth of the amount of time for the two together. I don't need the Acolyte. Agonizing Remorse. Palisade. God, Demigod, or Legendary Enchantment gain 1 life. We do have a few of those on the list, but it's not... Like, I think Pristine Talisman is better because it doesn't care what we have. We're not getting much from the Devotion. We do have a couple of the gods on the list, though. Alright, I will think about it. This is Altar of the Pantheon. So it's 3 for an artifact. Zombie token. Opponent casts a spell. I get a 1/2. Reach. Guys get an enchantment back. Constellation, make a Pegasus, and my Pegasi have lifelink. Put into exile, return that card to the battlefield under your control. At 6 mana, and the fact that he's mostly not going to be a creature anyway, I don't think we need him. I don't need Bronzehide Lion. Alex Destiny's Hand. Reveal an enchantment card, put in your hand, rest on the bottom. Exile target creature or enchantment you don't control until target enchantment you do control leaves the battlefield. And return all enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Eh. 1/1, no. Dawn Evangel. Whenever another creature I control enters the battlefield or dies, I gain 1 life. So it is only my creatures, but it checks them coming and going. Exos. What is his title again? Blessed by the Sun. By the Sun. White, demigod. 2/star. Clothing, no. Destiny Spinner, no. Dice create an 0/1, no. Let's tap for any color, don't think so. Loyalty abilities. Yeah, we don't really need Elspeth Conquers Death. Nightmare either. Prancing Liar, no. Oh, hang on 1 second. I think I hear knocking at the door. That might be one of my packages. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, I had to run around my house because the front door is all messed up, so go through the back. It was not my PS5, it was the other package. I believe it's the Lord of the Rings booster boxes that I ordered. I didn't get all of them from the same place because the cheapest sellers did not have enough in stock, so I had to split the order up, but I don't know if it's the one or the two. It's big enough to be the two, so I'm guessing it's that. Hey. Myself a second. Alright. So, Erebos, as long as you're right, another creature dies, pay 2 life to draw a card. Has to be a creature I control dies, and I don't have a ton of sacrifice outlets. I think we have like 1 or 2 now to actually do that. Probably not. Don't need the intervention. Spell target creature or enchantment, then return to the battlefield under its owner's control. Yeah. Lifelink and puts a card from my deck into my graveyard. Don't think there's anything. I mean, there's that one vampire that we can get back when we gain life, but that's about it. Yeah, Heliod's growing things, and I don't need that. His intervention. So we have a lot of artifact and enchantment hate that exiles. This one, though, lets me destroy so many artifacts and enchantments, or lets me gain 2 times X life. I shouldn't need the life gain. Like, yes, it's cool that it can also gain us life, but I would rather gain life as part of the effect. I don't want to cast a spell just to gain a ton of life. I want to gain life while I'm doing things to affect the board. I think we pass on Heliod's Intervention because I have so many other cards already on the list that actually exile the artifacts and enchantments, and that's more what I want to be doing with this deck. So that way the opponents are constantly losing resources. So even if they can recycle their deck, they're running out of stuff. It's an enchanted creature or enchantment creature also gains hexproof and indestructible. Vigilance, Menace, Lifelink. Creature cards in graveyards can't enter the battlefield. Players can't cast spells from the graveyards. I think so. Don't need the Lampad. Oh. Oh. Danger Noodle. Whenever an Essene board becomes blocked by a creature, that creature's controller draws a card. No. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 2 life. How many enchantments do we actually have? That's true. Daxos is an enchantment too. Plus, this will help me find him later. We're done. Enchant. So 59, but some of them are going to be things that we can exile. So Daxos is 58 with Barrier Breach. These are all enchantments. Greed, Library, Necro, Grim Feast, Contemplation, Reconnaissance, Survival, Litwake, Noble Purpose, Righteous Aura, Aura Shards, Arena, Righteous Cause. Exquisite Blood, Bow of Nylea, Whip of Erebos, Course of Rufix, Athreos, From Beyond, 2 landfall cards, Authority, Solemnity. So yeah, what I'm seeing is the biggest problem is not that I don't have enough enchantments, it's how many of these am I going to cut, because literally all we could put Bilbo and all of the enchantments we currently have on the list in the deck, and we would have to add land at that point and have no room for anything else. Barrier Breach, so that's 2 that aren't actually enchantments. So we get room for 1 more card at that point. Johnny's Welcome. Oh wait, hang on, I think we're back into the thing. So yeah. Where's Daxos then? There he is. Alright, so yeah, Barrier Breach is the only one that's not actually an enchantment then. Just references them. The game text. So yeah. I guess Nexus Wardens can make it onto the list, but they might not actually make it into the deck because we don't have room, and because we're going to have to cut a bunch of these enchantments to make room for other cards. Nexus Wardens is 2 and a green for Satyr Archer. Archer 1/4. 1/4. Alright. I don't need my creatures to have trample. Care about Nylea. for intervention. X-Bloom Ancient. Sporn Colossus. Omen of the Hunt. No. Omen of the Sun. Libation, no. Curse Band. Flying, Poly-K. Relentless Pursuit, Renata. Turn to Nature. Hoplite, Resistance. Target creature and or target aura. No. Lesson Champion, no, despite the sheer volume. The Shadow Spear. Most of our stuff exiles, so this would be more getting rid of hexproof to target it than it would be getting rid of indestructible, but I probably don't have room for it since I'm not planning on attacking. Land is put into your graveyard from anywhere, gain a life. Yeah, I don't think we were running the other one either, despite the idea that we could theoretically be sacking our lands and replaying them, so. Sack a creature, draw a card. Some lifelink. Gideon's Fangirl. Each creature card exiled this way, gain a life. Return target creature or land from your graveyard to your hand. Nope. Birth of Meletus. Draw 3 cards, cast a spell, lose a life. Target spell or ability, sacrifice it. Gain 3 life. Nope. This is the number of zombies. No. We already have Scavenging Ooze on the list. I don't think we need Timoret. Creature, no. Voracious Typhon, no. Ghost Rider, no. And Wolf Willow Haven. Alright, we'll do one more set since I had to run off to go check my mail. Make up for the lost time, but we are right there, so we're going to end on Throne of Eldraine today. Acclaim champion, acclaim contender. It's about night cards, all that glitters. Pain Signet, yes. I wish they had not made the cards from the Brawl decks part of the set. So unnecessarily confusing. You're trying to do something like this exactly. Alright, Commander/Brawl, there we go. I forget, was Throne of Eldraine before Ikoria? I feel like it was. It's fine, we'll put it up here with the things like Command Tower. I know I need Arcane Signet, so. But yeah, I really wish they had given them their own subset thing for this. Ardenvale Paladin. I suppose I could sort it by collector number, but then I get all of the white cards first, and that's not how I normally do these lists, so that throws it a little bit too. Don't have enough black creatures, and we're tertiary in black anyway, so go to Ayara. That Danger. Cloak Giant, no. Don't need Castle Ardenvale. Or Lochthwain, really. And we definitely don't need Garenbrig. We're not that heavy on creatures. Scry 2, gain 3 life, or flicker another creature. I think we can do better than the Charming Prince. Giant Killer. Blackbridge Troll. Each opponent loses X life based on the knights I have. Whenever I gain life for the first time each turn, return Deathless Knight from the graveyard to the hand. 4 mana 4/2 is not exactly what I want to keep doing every turn that I'm gaining life, so. Don't need Doom Foretold. Collector, no. Bayburrow Elder, no. Feasting Troll King. Free Foods, no. Doesn't know. Witch Stalker, no. Draws 2 cards and loses 2 life, and Adamant, I make a food. Nope. Don't need the Foulmire Knight. Make 2 wolves. Destroy target creature, draw a card. +3/+3 and have trample. Nope. 3 food tokens. Yeah, probably want Gilded Goose. This is Eldraine. So many Eldrazi. Eldritch Moon. Or of Eldraine. There we go. Alright, so this is Gilded Goose. Yeah, it's kind of hard to say no to a cheap mana dork that also is a life gain engine. 2. Alright, not really an engine, but a repeatable source of life gain throughout the game. Enters the battlefield, create a number of food tokens equal to the number of opponents you have. Sacrifice another non-land permanent, gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Egg. Player gains 5 life and draws a card. If there are 5 colors among permanents you control, 6 or more card types, and your life total is greater than or equal to your starting life total, you win the game. Well, we can do like 2 out of 3 of those very easily. That one about having all 5 colors is kind of rough, though. Base power and toughness 3/3, and it makes 2 1/1s that are 3/3s. Hushbringer. Range. Don't need Keeper. Can't run Kenny. Each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Return all knights from your graveyard to the battlefield. Whenever a white creature you control attacks, you gain a life. If this deck had wound up mono white, I could see running Linden. Like, just attack with all my little creatures because I don't care. They attack, I gain the life. They get blocked, I probably gain some life. They die, I gain some life. I don't even really need them to hit the opponent. As long as they're doing tons of life gain. But yeah, I don't think I need it in this 3-color deck. In future, don't need Once Upon a Time. Hyper, no. Questing Beast, no. Rankle. Gains lifelink, gains indestructible. Whenever a creature attacks you or a planeswalker you control, that creature's controller loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Maybe? Like, that's now gaining me life for opponents attacking me? And making it so that they can't just keep attacking me, especially if they're losing their creatures to one of the no mercy effects on top of that. Because now it's taking them so much effort to get through for damage, and then every time they succeed, they're losing a bunch of life and their creatures, and I'm gaining some of that life back. It just makes it feel impossible to win if they can't destroy the artifacts and enchantments that are doing this to them. Which, again, is the linchpin of the deck, so once we get all of those blown up, it's going to be really hard to win, but if we've gained enough life, we can probably live long enough to try and rebuild at least. Yeah, don't need any of the uncommon knights. Make 3 food tokens. No. Tempting Witch. Bomb of Owner's Library. Pay 2 life, return a creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. Sorcery speed. +1/+1. Cast a legendary spell, make a knight. 4-tap, make a knight. We don't have very many big creatures, so while the Great Henge does tap for 2 mana and 2 life every turn, it's very difficult for us to cast it for less than, 5 mana. So, probably not. If I'm planning on running cards that don't kill or don't kill little creatures, because it doesn't affect most of mine, then I don't think the Great Henge is viable in the deck. Don't need Trail of Breadcrumbs. Don't need Love's Kiss. Weapon Rack. Kid Wolf. No. Witchclaw Talisman. Witch's Oven. Vengeance. Worthy Knight. Yorvo, and Youthful Knight. Okay, well, that's going to do it for me for today. I'm going to go see what my box actually has in it. It could be the Commander decks, too. I think I was supposed to be getting the booster boxes today, though, so we'll have to see. But, yeah, I'm going to go see what that's all about, and I will see you all next time. Thank you to Polera Kaput for stopping by and chatting with us for a while. I appreciate it, and I will see you all next time. Have a good rest of your day.